Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and today we're going to be working on a wedding ring. So me and my friend Janomi Kelly did a Facebook Live with Pro Stitcher. You can find that over at Pro Stitcher's Facebook page. I believe it's also on their YouTube channel, where we did a wedding ring. And it was a little bit rushed, so I figured I'd come in and do my side of the wedding ring, because we did it the way Kelly's doing it, and then we did it the way I'm doing it. So I want to go back in and spend some time, kind of start to finish the way I do it. I'll do a whole pass, and so you can see how I do it. I do a little bit different. I like to kind of create things to work straight across that wedding ring, and so I can hit start once, and then it does everything else. The design happens to work, so I can just kind of stitch it across, but you'll see that in a minute. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. Follow me on social media, Adam So Fun with an S-E-W on Facebook and Instagram, so you can see all of the things that don't happen or don't hit the YouTube channel. You would have known that I was doing that live. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to move you over here. I'm going to show you what I have stitched so far, and then I'll advance and kind of go through. This is just a panel. Before we get over there, this is just a panel. It's not even a panel, it's just yardage. This is from Riley Blake. It's called Hometown. I purchased it from a quilting situation in New Mexico, so if you want to get it, you can get it there. Some of your local quilt shops might have it too, but they were fantastic, and I got it really quick, so I was very excited. Kelly actually found this. She bought yardage and put the two pieces together. I think she has a like 80 by 80 piece or so, because she wants something to put on their bed, but she didn't want to make a wedding ring quilt. I just bought some yardage for the video and for our live, so I'm just going to finish stitching this out and kind of take it with me, because now I have a new sample. So I'm going to bring you over here. Again, it's Riley Blake Hometown, and it's just like a double wedding ring cheer cloth. So we'll see you back here in a second. Alright, so here we are, and you can see that the back part is stitched, the front part isn't. I need to actually advance so we can do the whole thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a pass. So basically, we're going to do our footballs. I call these our footballs. I don't know, our circles. We're going to do our footballs, and then we're going to do the interior. I'm going to show you how I kind of do them together. So I do it in sets. So if I did this one, I did my footballs, and then I did my interior pieces. It works really well. The other thing, and I'm going to zoom in this, is I'm a really big fan of stitching the ditch. And this has no ditches stitched. So if I zoom in, and this is actually a pretty good view, you can see that it's not defined right here. You have it's just raised between this design and this design, and that is because there is no ditch stitched. Oh yeah, that's my finger. Okay. So if you want definition, if you want to grab the eye and have definition, you need to stitch those ditches. On the Pro Stitcher, if you go watch the video that we did on Pro Stitcher, Kelly actually uses mark and does that. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so that's what I did. We are using designs from Pro Stitcher patterns, ProStitcher.com. This is the spring wedding ring set, and we did something different. We actually changed the design. I'm going to show you how we did that and everything else, but this is what I have so far. I think it actually looks pretty good. Like, you can see I'm loading with my sew ties. I think I found a way that I like, and I'll put the video out as soon as I get a chance to kind of do it. But I like the way this goes. And it goes pretty quick once you start getting into it and understanding what's going on. So I'm going to advance this. We'll bring you back here, and we'll get to stitching. All right, here we are at our Pro Stitcher. I'm going to do File Design Open. And so this is the set. So you get an arc. I'll just open each piece. How about that? Because then you can see everything a lot bigger. And I'll kind of run through why we changed it up the way we did. So this is the, let's see, slide these around. So these are the 4 pieces that come in the set. We'll do that so it makes them all dark. And so you get a cornerstone. You get the football, which is like the center arc piece. You get the outside kind of ring piece, and then you get the interior piece. So it's nice. It's a really great set. Simple. Okay, you can get it done pretty quick. I'm going to create an area just around one of my circles. And it's not perfect, but it's perfect-ish. How about that? So this is the full size of the circle on this wedding ring. So you have to think all of these have to be put into this. This is the reason we didn't use all of the pieces. We're only going to be using this one, and we're going to be using this one, and I'm even going to edit that. And the reason for this is this football would have had to be so small, it was just going to make the stitching really, really dense, and it wasn't exactly what we were looking for, so we decided to edit it. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to open, I want to clear all. I'm going to File, Design, Open, and I'm going to open my wedding ring melon shape. Our first step was to edit this design so we could use it without the ditch, because we didn't want to worry about the ditch being perfect and all of the stuff that comes in with stitching those ditches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Pro Stitcher tab. I'm going to go New Start End, and we're going to crop off that outside. I never know what the stitch path is, because it could go on the outside, it could come on the inside. So my first step was I just went to move this down, and see how our start point is sliding through this design? That means it starts, it's going to stitch here, and then it's going to do the football shape. So I'm just going to scroll bar and put that back to the top. Now if I do the up on our end arrow, so what I'm doing is I'm moving that end point. See how it travels over? And it's going to go all the way around there, and it's going to go all the way back. And when it gets back to the beginning, where these two designs meet, this is what I want. I want this to stitch to there and end at that. And I don't want that outside piece. So I'm going to go to my Modify tab. I'm going to crop in the ribbon, and over here there's no area, so I can't hit outside, I can't close my edges, I can't do any of that, but I can hit start and end. So I'm going to hit start and end. Boom, our outline is done, and then now we're going to baseline, because that's what always super important when we crop. So now I have my base design I'm going to be using. So now I need to create an area. I want to get that shape so I can make this the right size. So I'm going to go to my area tab. We're going to be using multi-point. You know, you're going to hear the ding, ding, ding. I'm going to hit clear because I'm not where I want to be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to multi-point around this design. I'm sorry, I have to turn my lights on for this because I can't see. It's really hard to see with the lights off. There we are, but it's going to brighten you out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start at this point, ding all the way around, ding all the way back. I just want one. Sometimes the thread gets in the way of my laser. And am I being exactly like the best on the line? No, I'm getting close. And you're seeing, I'm going to ding a lot, especially on those curves. Remember, we're making straight lines, so we need more lines on the curve to get a nice curve. All right, so now we should have our football on our screen. We're going to go back up, and there we have it. So now I need to put this into my football and try to resize it to fit. So what I'm going to do is, my first thing, I need to rotate this. So I'm going to go to Modify, Rotate, and I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees. So Modify tab, rotate in the ribbon, and I'm going to hit 45 degrees to the left. And now my design is rotated. That's fantastic. I'm going to my Align button. So Modify, Align in the ribbon. Over here, I'm going to hit center, and center is going to center the design on our area. That's what the Align does. It uses an area to reposition something. Bottom house refresh to center it and make it big. So now I can go to Modify tab, Resize in the ribbon, and you're going to see our horizontal bar. You're used to seeing this. I can hit Height. We have our horizontal bar. Well, I rotated this design. I haven't baselined it yet, so it still thinks the original design is horizontal. So down here, I have original height and original width. You might not have ever used these before. If I hit original width, you're gonna see the width. This was because it was rotated this way, so that would be the width. So now, or if I put original height, it's gonna go the opposite way. So you can kind of see the yellow line. It's hard to see, but you can see the blue one. So because I haven't baselined it, it still believes the original design was horizontal. So I can still shrink these on the diagonal. This is a fantastic feature. I love this feature. My first step is I want to lock it. So I hit my lock, and I'm just going to use the minus buttons to shrink the start and the stop button, or the start and the stop, into my area. And that looks pretty good. Does it have to be perfect? No, I'm so not a perfectionist. So now I'm going to turn the lock off. And I have my width select, original width, and I don't want this. I want the height. So I'm going to hit original height. There's my yellow bar that's really hard to see. And I'm just going to hit the plus button until I fill my football in. And so this is how I made my base design. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the lines because I know this probably isn't printed exactly perfect. So I'm going to come in. I just want to fill it up, kind of. It's okay if it doesn't go all the way. And now I can look at this. If I zoom in over here, I can see that we're not quite at the corner. And if I scroll up to the top other side, I guess I could use pan for this. I can see that I'm not quite there. So I can rotate this. I mean, we can get really picky. So I would modify rotate in the ribbon. We have custom rotation down here. I can custom rotation that a little bit and then see how the other side looks. And it actually looks pretty good. Now, if I really was like, oh, I want this to fit perfect, I can do original height and do that. And, you know, we can get in there. Let's see, 4.25. There we are. So this is going to be my base design. What I want to do is baseline this. Now, I'm going to, by baselining it, I'm taking out the ability to do this stuff on the diagonal. It is what it is. I'm okay with that. If I was really worried about that, I could go to rotate, put it back here, and baseline it. Let's try this. So I put it back on the horizontal. That gives me the ability to, you know, increase the height of these. We might have to do that. And then I'm going to go File, Save, Selected. And I have my Adam So Fun file and my designs. And I already have a football design. It was what I was using the first time and the second time. You can see they even look different. It's fine. Nobody's going to know in the final version. I'm just going to override this football one. So I picked it. I'm going to hit save. It's going to say, do you want to override this? And I'm going to say yes. So now I have my base football design. That's the hardest thing we're going to do today is getting that design. So now I'm going to go to my area tab and I'm going to hit clear. And we're going to create an area. And now this is where the magic happens. I need to stitch this zigzag. This is what I'm looking for. So let me see. There we go. So we're going to stitch from here, up, down, up, down, up, down. We're going to set it up to stitch one side to the other. So what I want to do is I'm going to start at this question. I'm going to start at this corner over. Ooh, you can't see that all the way. There we go. So I'm going to start at this corner over here, and I'm going to start multi-pointing on this this area. Now again, I'm not being super precise. I just want this to be pretty good. Now I'm going to go up. I can't see how far over you can see. Let's turn you. And this is just one way to do a wedding ring. This, you might have done one, you might think, oh, my way was so much easier and so much better, and that's fine. You know what I always say? Whatever works for you is the way you should do it. This is just what I thought would work best for me. Now I'm going to come back up around the other side of my footballs. And I'm going to work myself all the way back. Somebody in the live asked, well, how many multi-points can you put in? I don't know the answer to that. I feel like you can put in as many as you want. I don't know if like Pro Stitcher actually has an ultimate number. I know there was a time we did rubber band area on a circle and it had like 1,100 points. Also, don't lean on your frame while you're multi-pointing because then things will not be in the right spot. I hope my arm's not totally in the way. There we are. So, when we come up to the screen, there's going to be a lot of moving now because it just is the nature of how this goes. Yeah, our screen already looks weird. and when I hit bottom house refresh, this is what our multi-point looks like. Basically, it's the wedges all the way across. I just hit zoom. Let's move this out of the way. Now, the reason this works is because we have a start and an end on opposite sides. If you have designs like this, we can connect endpoints to start points. So I can have it start here and stitch, and then start and end, and then start and end, and start and end. So that's what I'm gonna do. I can also look at this and look, it's not loaded perfectly straight. So see how we have a little bit of angle? So we're gonna be changing angles and things along the way. So let's see, modify tab, rotate, and I'm gonna rotate this to the correct angle. There we are. And I'm just gonna use my finger to drag and drop this over to get it near my start point, or my area. Now, I wanna be a little more specific than just doing that. Let's zoom into this. So what I wanna do, because remember our crosshairs represent where the needle is on our quilt top. I'm gonna drop you down to see this better. So our crosshairs represent our needle. So I want to bring my needle to right here where we want to start. You're going to see I don't have side clamps on. I'm seriously, the fabric under here ends like right where we're going to start stitching, and that's fine. I know that this is just so I can stitch this panel. So I'm going to move to that center part, or to that point in the intersection, because I know this is the very center of that intersection, okay? My laser light's there, and the reason I'm doing that is because we have functions to help us work with this. So there's my crosshairs. I am going to my reposition, because reposition uses the crosshairs to move a design. And it's easy as going reposition and hitting start point in our sidebar. And now the start point is right on my needle, right where my laser light is. I know it's perfect. I know it's centered perfect. It's going to be great. Now I can look at this. It fits pretty good. I might want to rotate it a little tiny bit. And this is where you just get a little like crazy. I'm going to go back to reposition start point, and I can see that my end point is a little high. I'm actually going to, because this one is going to stitch off to the side, this would work, and I actually like the way it looks. Let's actually, let's resize this. Oh, I like that better. Reposition start point. Oh, there we go. That fixed it. Everything looks good. I like this. Remember, I am going to get kind of close to that edge. I don't really, it's okay. I could just nudge this down a little bit to nudge it away from that edge. I can rotate it a little bit because I nudged it, and then reposition again, and just messing around with it to try to get things just right. And then when we like it, we can baseline it. So now I'm going to file design open. I'm going to open my football design. And now I want to move, let's see, zoom. I want to move my crosshairs to this endpoint. I'm just going to select that design, and I can see my endpoint right there. And let's see if I move you back and zoom in. Now I'm going to move my crosshairs. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Perfect. And now I'm going right to that endpoint. All right, so we move our crosshairs to this endpoint. What this is going to do, it's going to give us a place for our next design to line up. So I'm just going to scroll my bars over a little bit. We've already opened that other design, so I'm going to select that other design. I can see it kind of hanging out here in my screen. If I zoom out, I can see it a little better. And first thing I want to do is modify, rotate, and I want to rotate it to be the correct direction. There we are. And now I know I need the start point at my crosshairs, because I'm at the end point of the first design. I want my start point to be right there. So I'm going to pick my new design, modify, reposition, start point. And I'm going to look at this and decide, do I like the way? I think that looks perfect. I can see that I go over the line a little tiny bit up there, and because of how these are all stitching and interacting, that's not going to bother me. If it was, like if it's something that I just couldn't live with, I could crop it, I could shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to look how those two, yeah, those look good. See how I am not right on it? If I shake my machine, like I'm a stitch length away, what if I come put this right perfectly on there? I zoomed in. I would have been fine where I was, but let's see, zoom back in here. And maybe I don't like that it's that far out anymore. And let's see, if I rotate this a little bit this way and reposition start point. I might actually rotate it a little bit more. Reposition start point. Oh, there we go. Now I'm in, everything's in line, perfect. So I am going to, it's not letting me baseline. I don't know, it does that sometimes. But what I want to do is I want to select none. And I'm going to scroll this over. I have these two designs. I want to stick them together. So I'm going to hit right here, select multiple. You know I love and hate this button. I'm going to pick my first one. I'm going to pick my second one. And your start point is outside the screen, but there's where we're going to start. This is our end. And now I'm going to turn this off. We see our group right here. And I'm going to go over and hit baseline. And you're going to see it's merged group. So now I'm going to move my crosshairs to that next point. And I'm always working end point. So there we go. And I can file, design, open. I'm going to open my football. I need to rotate it to be the correct way. So modify, rotate, ding, 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 ding. And now I'm going to reposition start point. And we're going to zoom into this one. And oh, look, that one fits pretty well. I mean, I could turn it a little bit. I mean, if this were me just doing it, I would just leave it how it was. But I tilted a little bit, and I'm going to reposition start point. And when I'm saying reposition start point, modified tab, reposition in the ribbon, start point on the other, on my sidebar. And now I have another piece. So I'm going to select none. Now I'm going to select, oh, would it let me baseline that one? Let's baseline that one. There we go. And now I'm going to select none, turn on select multiple, pick my first piece, pick my second piece, turn this off, and baseline those together. And now I have a new merge group. And if I'm on my workspace tab, it shows that I only have one design, even though there's 3 pieces. So I'm going to just continue that same pattern. Let's see, design. I might open a bunch of, oops, I'm still on Zoom. I might open a bunch of football designs just so I can have them and I don't have to keep doing this. Because oftentimes this is what I'll do. I'll open how many I need and then just go and use them as needed. So I can zoom into this. I'll pick this design. I'll move to this end point. There we are. You can still see, and I can just modify, rotate, and rotate it, reposition start point. And this one way outside the lines, so let's rotate it a little bit to see if that will fix it. And it did. And so right now, so I'm going to do a different little step just so you can see that you can do this. Now I'm going to move to that next one. I didn't baseline them together. So that's something to keep note of. I just went on to this next one. I could do my full layout if I wanted to first. Let's see, rotate. I need it to rotate this way. There we are. Reposition start point. And this is where things started getting off. So there's going to be a lot of rotating. I might have to shrink the size of one. I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal. That fit. I like it. So let's move to the next one. I told you lots of moving. And so I'm basically building this design inside my Pro Stitcher. Remember, I did my area. That's what my pink box is there for. And now the rest of it, I'm just building kind of in my Pro Stitcher universe, doing all my work there, using my screen as my, let's see, reposition start point, using my screen as my guide. That one fit. I love that. So just so you can see, I have one more left. So if I look at my workspace tab over here, I have my merge group, and then I have each of the footballs that I opened. So I have the merge group that was 3, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 footballs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not going to merge that last one yet. I'm going to hit select none, and I'm going to hit select multiple, and I'm just going to pick them in the row that I want. Now I see that I have all of these pieces. Turn off select multiple. I'm going to baseline those together. So now those are all merged. So I could do it one at a time. I can do it all at a time. It just depends on what I'm thinking of at the time, how I do it. Since I'm here, I'm just going to rotate that the correct direction. And I can drag and drop it. I don't do a lot of drag and dropping, especially when I have an area like this. This area has 97 points. I don't want to move it and mess it up where I can't fix it, because then I'd have to remake it. So I don't do a lot of using my finger to drag and drop. I do a lot of drag and drop. It's just harder to do the like tap, drag, and move the machine when the camera is stuck in one spot. Well, I also just moved that out of the way. So I'm gonna hit drop. So now I need to come to this end point, which is there. Can you see it? There you are. And I'll pick my next design, reposition start point. This one definitely needs to be rotated. Reposition start point. I'm going to rotate it some more. Reposition start point. And again, I'm off the side of my my quilt, but that's not really in. So let's see, can I rotate it? Ooh, that's too far. Rotate it there, reposition start point. Went too far. I might just have to shrink this one down a little bit. Oh my gosh. I felt like it moved a lot. Oh, there we are. That works. And so now, there we are. I'm going to select none. That's the X. Select multiple, pick my first piece, pick my second piece. Make sure there's not a jump. We don't want it to look like that. If you see a jump in there, we need to reorder them. And remember, I have my football selected inside my group. It shows it red. I can just hit the arrow. Turn this off and baseline it. And now that's done. This is done. I can stitch this out. So I'm going to stitch this out and let you just watch as it stitches as well as I can, because it's really hard with the lighting in here. I know you'll see it better if I do this. And I'm just doing 10 stitches per inch, and my cruise is set at 175. All right, so we are, is it still recording? Yeah. All right, so we are done. And what I realized when I came to start this is I was supposed to stitch this one, and I didn't. So whatever, I stitched the one under it, it's gonna be fine. So I have it set up, because I set it up to stitch up here and then stitch these diamonds. So we're gonna stitch the interiors here. And so this is the next trick that I'm gonna show you. And I do this quite often because I'm all about making areas and knowing where things are gonna stitch. So let me come over here and get you nice and close so we can see. So, all right, so here we are. That design is stitched. We can tell it's changed colors, whatever. It looks great. So I have this area, and I need these lower lines. So I just don't want to recreate them. But I also know when I create areas, I always start on the left. I work my way right, and then I'll come back to the left and fill in as needed. So I know my area. If I zoom in right here, my start and my stop are right there. I can see them both. Remember, with your area, you can always see your start point and your stop point. Well, I can build off of this area still. I have 97 points. I can continue to build off that. So I'm gonna go to my area tab, and we're gonna do multi-point again. I'm gonna turn my lights back on so I can see. And we will just pop you down here. And so what I'm gonna do, because remember, I started right here at this point. I'm just gonna pretend like I never stopped. And I wanna pick up these diamonds working my way across. So I'll come here, and I'm just gonna ding there just for, I don't know, because I did. And I'm gonna work my way. Oops, I didn't hear it. That's why I love the ding. And I'm just gonna ding my way around this baby. But I'm just doing the top part. I'm not doing the whole, oops, I don't think you can see anymore. Oh yeah, you can. I'm not doing the whole, I'm not gonna do the whole shape. I'm just going to ding around these. I was just checking to see if I could do this diamond down here too, but because my ruler base is on, I can't get all the way there and I don't really feel like taking it off. So it is what it is. It's gonna be okay. I'm not worried about it. I can get it on my next one. So I'm over at this corner. So I'm basically over as far as I can go. And I want you to see what my screen looks like. Let me get rid of that. So you can see my diamonds, and then I have this half diamond here. But I also, it closes the area, so I have this big line that's shooting across my screen. Let me see if I can, I don't think you can zoom in there, over there. You can kind of see the line. I don't want that line. So what I do, because remember, I'm not cropping, I'm not doing anything. This is all for placement. I'm just gonna move my machine away. So I just moved my machine up. I can turn those lines off, or lights off now. So I just moved my machine up. So my last point was here. I just moved my machine up and I'm gonna hit a ding. And I'm just gonna come back and I'm just gonna hit a ding. And I don't even need to do all these dings, but I'll come back to about here where I'm vertical of where I started and ding. And then I can come back to the beginning if I really want to. So now let me put you down and put you on the screen and let me show you what that did. See our new area that it created? All I did was make area lines outside of what I needed to work on, just so they're not confusing. It would not have hurt a thing, I just didn't want to be confused. So, now I have my placement lines, and really we're just gonna use them for sizing. If I tilt you down, and I zoom in to these blocks, there's a perfect intersection here. I'm just gonna take my laser light, I gotta turn my lights on. I'm gonna take my laser light right to that intersection because we're gonna use reposition again. Reposition is gonna be your best friend when you start doing custom quilting. It's so, I mean, Pro Stitcher is so easy. You just gotta hit the buttons. So we're gonna go File, Design, Open. And I wanna open, I'm gonna go to my design set, which is way down here in my D drive. It's in Quiltable. I still have the Quiltable things, and since Pro Stitcher Patterns changed to Quiltable, I just left them there. I'm gonna get my spring wedding block. There we are. Now this is the normal size of what wedding ring usually is. This is why we didn't use all of those pieces, because it's already going to be small, and these pieces on the these wedges would have been so small. So first thing I want to do is modify, rotate, and I'm going to turn it because it has to look like my shape. I always say make it look like your shape. Now I'm going to go reposition, modify tab, reposition, and I'm just going to hit center. Just going to put the center of my design right on my crosshairs. I can zoom into this, and I'm going to do resize, turn on my lock, and I'm just going to shrink this down until I like it. And there we are. And I can come in and I can rotate this a little bit if I want. And then reposition center. Let's see, oh, well, I can move that more towards the center. There we are. And I could nudge this and whatever. I'm gonna fit that in there. I might make it one size bigger. I like that. So now, I would baseline this if I could. It's not letting me, I don't know why. But now I'm going to move my machine to this intersection. And then I'm gonna come over here and move you to my screen. I'm gonna go to my edit tab. I'm gonna hit duplicate. Duplicate, because this was selected, it made a copy of that design. There it is. Now I'm gonna say modify, reposition center. I'm going to look how it looks. I can just use my nudges if I need to, or I can I can rotate it if I need to. That one looks great. That one's letting me baseline, perfect. Now I'm gonna go to edit and I'm gonna hit duplicate. There's our new one. I'm gonna move over to my next center intersection. And scroll my screen. And I'm gonna hit modify, reposition center. I'm going to look at it. I can move it this way some, and I might need to rotate it this way a little bit. They don't have to be perfect because nobody's gonna know they're not perfect unless you tell them. Oh, that looks pretty good. And then I have one more and it's a half. So I'm gonna go, let's see, baseline that one, then edit, duplicate. I'm gonna go to my last one. I gotta see where this thing is. So here's my last one, modify, reposition center. And I just wanna see how this side is looking. So I'm gonna move it down. Oops, I was hitting the wrong button. And I like it there. So now, we have this all lined up. It looks beautiful, things look good, baseline. And I'm gonna come back and tap on this first one and see if I can, maybe sometimes if you rotate it, it lets you baseline. It's still not letting me baseline, so we'll see. I didn't use a line, I didn't use skews, and nothing should disappear. So what I need to do, I need to, because if I look down, this is where my quilt ends. So I only need half of that last design. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my area tab, I'm gonna hit clear, and I'm just gonna make a box. So this is a vertical line from where I need it to stitch. And then I can just come over here and put a big triangle around this. And now I can select this one design. Let me zoom in. So basically the vertical line is where I need it to really crop. There we go. The vertical line is where I really need it to crop. And then the rest of it, I just need to be inside my lines because I'm gonna go modify, crop. I wanna crop the outside and I wanna close my edges. And then I want a baseline. And there's a weird jump in there, and I probably will just not let it jump because it really just needs to end up there. And it's just because I got a little bit of the bottom design, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to hit select none, pick select multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want those. We'll tap those and turn those off, but I do want that. I do see a start and an end point right there. That's not what I want. So I'm going to pick that and move it down. And let's see. That is going first, so I want that one last. I want this one to come down one. There we go, because I want the start point there, end point there. Turn off select multiple. You could baseline this, you don't have to. And now I'm going to stitch it out. And I'm going to stitch these out, and then we'll see you whenever it's done. Well, I forgot to hit record, so here are the designs after they were stitched out. With that one section missing, because I also did the wrong side. I'm just like batting 1,000 today. So you'll see it wrinkled over there. That will have stitching in it whenever I go back and put it in. I think it turned out really nice. I kind of like the no stitch the ditch in this case, because that football design is so big. I think that it really holds down and you get the break in the sections that way. But I don't know, you tell me. But yeah, that's it. All right, my friends, that is how I did my double wedding ring. That was my portion from the Pro Stitcher Live video. I took that original design, we took out the outline, we didn't want those ditches to stitch that way, we were doing it a different way. Maybe you're going to use a ruler, maybe you are using a mark or trace area or one of those functions. And then I had it zigzag because I had to start on one side, a stop on the other, and I was able to zigzag and have it stitch in one go round without me having to do jumps in between. And then I continued the area that I made. I'm going to hit undo. Do I have enough undos? Cancel. I want to see how many points that area had. Undo, undo, undo. There we are. Area. So I took my 97 point area and then I continued to add on to it, making my placement. Remember, this is for placement. This is not, I can't use skew, I can't use align, I can't use any of those buttons. It's just for placement. But it helps me keep everything inside my borders. So I added another, 54, 58, something like that, 60 points to my area that was already there, did my final placements, selected my designs, and had it stitch out. So it's all about thinking, what can Pro Stitcher do? How can it work for you the way you want it to? Because remember, we can do anything in Pro Stitcher that we want. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. Follow me on social media, Adam's So Fun with an SEW on Facebook and Instagram, where you see stuff that doesn't happen here. And you know, this isn't perfect. And you know what I always say, at the end of the day, it's just quilting. We want to have a good time, so it's okay that it's not perfect. It's done. It's going to be done. And so I'm going to go in and do a few more rows. I probably won't do this whole thing because it's like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever. It doesn't even really take that long whenever I'm not recording. I just have other things I want to do. I've been doing a lot of piecing. So we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. Bye.